From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.
Good morning, this is Craig Allison with your Morning Pulse for Friday, January 9th. We are here. We made it through the first week of 2026. It's been a very eventful one, full of a lot of different headlines nationally and locally that have been impacting us. But first, just starting your Friday off on the lighter side, let's get you your question of the day today. In case you missed it on 1011 this morning, question is in 1990, 5% of Americans had one of these. Now close to 50% have one. What is it? Answer is a passport. People, get a passport. It's a really good form of identification. Even if you're not traveling, it's just nice to have as an extra piece of identification. Anyways, I didn't get that right. None of our viewers got that right. But if you want to participate in our question of the day, be sure to submit your guess to the 1011 Facebook page, and we'll share some of your guesses during our show and reveal the answer as well as on our show. Now, that being said, we're going to head over to our first headline here on the national side. This morning, the FBI is investigating another federal agent-involved shooting, this time in Portland, Oregon. The Department of Homeland Security says 2 people were shot while attempting to flee agents. Local police say a man and woman are now being treated in a hospital for their wounds. Shooting came one day after an ICE agent shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis. On social media, the Department of Homeland Security said the shooting happened Thursday during a traffic stop targeting a vehicle whose driver and passenger allegedly have ties to a notorious Venezuelan gang. DHS says the driver, quote, weaponized the vehicle, end quote, and tried to run over agents, and that the officer who fired the gun feared for his life. The FBI's Portland office says it is, quote, investigating an assault on federal officers. City's Mayor Keith Wilson is demanding a halt to federal immigration operations in Portland until a full and independent investigation is complete. Protesters gathered outside of an ICE facility in Portland overnight, and be sure to stick with us as we work to learn more about this developing case. Your second story this morning, a date has been set for the possible expulsion of State Senator Dan McEwen of Amherst. His public hearing is scheduled for January 12th after 43 senators voted to suspend the rule requiring a 7-day notice before a public hearing. McEwen is one of 4 senators who abstained from yesterday's vote. On the first day of the legislature's session, Senator Ben Hansen of Blair filed the motion to hold the hearing. The move comes following accusations Senator McEwen inappropriately touched a woman at a party near the end of last year's legislative session. He has pled not guilty to a disturbing the peace charge in Lancaster County Court. Your third story, and along those lines, the resignation of NU Regent Elizabeth O'Connor is now in question after the Board of Regents meeting scheduled for today was postponed. O'Connor announced late last month she planned to resign today, January 9th, following pressure from lawmakers and members of the public. She's facing DUI charges after prosecutors say she crashed head-on into another vehicle in Omaha while driving at more than 4 times the legal limit. On Wednesday, State Senator Kathleen Kauth formally introduced a measure to impeach O'Connor, and be sure to stick with us for more on that developing story as well. Your fourth story, now, while it may still be months and months away from the primary election, not months and months, but just a few months, the race for Nebraska governor is already heating up. Another Republican candidate says she's ready to jump into the race. Sheila Korth-Falken announcing her campaign this week. Korth-Falken is a Randolph native and tells 1011 she previously served as a city administrator as well as a city treasurer and clerk. Now her campaign priorities include cutting government spending, lowering taxes, and bringing more attention to child abuse and neglect in Nebraska. Korth-Falken says there are some areas where she and Governor Jim Pillen agree, but believes the governor has fallen short in a specific area.
I've actually been in touch with Governor Pillen about a lot of these issues, and he's failed to help children. And I believe that we have to do that first and foremost so that we can cut government spending.
Now, the primary election is set for May 12th. We'll have more information about Korth-Falken on our 1011 Now website and app. Moving things over to your fifth story, a local doctor is sounding the alarm on a recent surge of flu cases in Nebraska. After very high cases of influenza A were reported in recent weeks, Dr. Michael Schoof at CHI Health says the numbers are expected to continue climbing in the coming weeks.
There is a lot more flu coming across us now. And as we have had folks who have traveled and gathered for the holidays, we've gone to areas where there were higher levels of flu. People from those areas have come here. We've mixed up together in airports and all those sort of things. Now we're back to work, back to school, back to our other routines. We're starting to share with each other as well.
Early flu symptoms include aches, pains, fevers, fatigue, and other cold-like symptoms. Nationally, there have been over 120,000 hospitalizations and 5,000 deaths so far this season. Point blank, doctors say the best way to protect yourself is to get a flu shot. While some people might feel a bit off after the shot, it prepares your immune system in case you do contract the flu. And wrapping things up with your final story this morning. Just pulling it up here. There we go. Yep, sorry about that. Technical difficulty on the script. But yes, your final story, Melissa Ripley recently resigned from the Lincoln Police Department after more than a quarter century of service, most recently as the department's homeless outreach coordinator. Now, in a new role as Centerpoint's new director of community outreach, her mission remains the same.
It's important to remember that these are our neighbors as well, and even though it looks a little bit different than maybe you and I live, they still deserve the same dignity and rights and attention.
This time, she's carrying on the legacy of Matt Martinovsky, a former assistant director of community response who died late last year. That legacy is already taking shape as Ripley and Centerpoint are ready to pull the curtain back. Ripley and Centerpoint are preparing to open a new complex designed to house people experiencing chronic homelessness. Complex has 24 units and is set to open sometime next week. As for Ripley's former position at LPD, the department says, in part, quote, as we move into 2026, LPD is evaluating these roles to ensure we are continuing to meet evolving needs of our community in each of these critical areas. That's going to be your morning pulse for this Friday morning. And as we wrap things up, we'll take a look at your 7-day forecast before we throw things over to Brandon Rector with more.
Good Friday morning. Meteorologist Brandon Rector with you in the 1011 Severe Weather Center. It looks as though we're going to be seeing increasing clouds in the eastern part of the state this morning. So beginning of the day, mostly sunny, but by this afternoon, it will be mostly cloudy to cloudy across the entire area. Our winds are going to be out of the north-northwest today at about 5 to 15 miles per hour, so not as breezy as yesterday. While there could be a few flurries around this morning, especially in the northwestern part of the state, there's a little bit better chance for some precipitation in southeastern Nebraska late this afternoon and into the evening. I'd say Omaha, Lincoln, and Hebron, about a 20% chance, maybe a 40% chance in Falls City of some rain and snow showers. Little to no accumulation expected. Temperatures at noon look to be in the mid to upper 30s. At 4 this afternoon, we're in the mid 30s to low 40s. And by 8 this evening, it's low 20s to mid 30s. In Lincoln for today, warming up into the low 40s.
From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.